Oh, Bessie went into power save mode, because that's right, we just got done re-imaging her. Okay. No, I need to be able to see Skype. Anyways, this is probably the first time I've had an actual original Pentium. So, this is, I'll see if I can get the rest of the power supply out. I'm really just astonished by the fact that there's only one, come on, get in there, come on. Or was it this way? There should be an indicator for it. Or this way. This is pretty bad. Usually, almost always, it is up, right? Oh wait, there's the little indicator. That matches with something I probably can't see right now. Yeah, hang on, let me get the lamp. Yeah, it was only mounted by one screw, which is interesting. Socket 7. That's cool. Oh, I see. It went this way. Like I had it originally, but it wasn't wanting to go in. Well, supposedly. Well, I guess maybe there isn't a marking. I could have swore it was this way, though. There we go. Yeah, and the retention mount on this is amazing. So, I learned some. Oh shit! I forgot to put on the mounting bracket, but oh well. 1, no paste. 2, this screw's on. That was really cool. 3, he's still not done. But yeah, there's only one screw. Oh, there's some more mounts, so maybe I'll get lucky. I hope there's more mounts. Anyways, I gotta vacuum this out in a moment. I found a note that seems to be a parts list. Get dust from blah 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 blah. Don't know. Put you there. So millions of the front jumpers were amazing wherever they went, and this power connector was amazing. It was almost impossible to get off after I had the thing off of it. So I'm gonna have to make sure to get this off. I don't know if it matters on my motherboard. I mean, obviously it does, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, so I get that done. Giant motherboard, which actually, hang on, just a quick comparison. Oh wow, they're basically the same size. Yeah, and that one's bigger than my motherboard, so it'll fit, I hope. This is my room because I collect these because I like them. This is the only Pentium, non-Pentium like DX or Turbo or anything like that. Give me a sec. I know it's dark in here. That I've ever owned, so put this here. Someday I'll start up those other ones I have. And that's one of the reasons I'm happy that I got power supply for them. But yeah, anyways. So, if we go back to where Bessie resides, we'll probably find out that that thing is going to be a bitch to get in there. Won't surprise me. Kevin's still not ready. I'm gonna probably mock mount that real quick and just see how well it fits. Alright, so I got a lot of the stuff out, got some of the stuff gutted, finally figured out how to mount that thing. That thing was impossible to mount, because I just noticed there's no mounting holes for them. There is there, but nowhere else in the case. So, got it kind of cleaned up. There's still some dust in places, I'm still working on it. But, overall it's much cleaner. Computer building's fun, but definitely difficult sometimes. And then there's this one corner of stuff that just refuses to get clean. So, yeah, I'll work on it. So, my battery, hang on a sec. I should turn this down for copyright concerns. My battery isn't, well, it's not full, but what I wanted to show you, I know, this one should be blinking and this one, or well, this one should be on and this one isn't. But I like the turbo one better, and there's a very good reason for that. Well, one, it looks cool, but this is actually the first time I hooked up a cable, it actually ran right. But anyways, back here, you'll notice that's the turbo switch, which is that, and I am gonna wire it up to use this later. It doesn't right now, it uses reset to turn on. I have to do a very, very special mod for that involves possibly hacking up my power supply. So, still deciding on that, but is it this one? Nope. Here we go. Power LED. Well, on my motherboard, power LED does not take up 3, even though it only uses 2. So I just got to modify that a little bit. Titan didn't go in right, so that's why it's all crooked and everything. It is mounted properly, kind of, but it's because of the wireless card, so I have to find a solution to that. My alignment on my drilling's a little off too, but that's okay. I have parts rigged up from the past like 5 different builds I've done because I needed a USB, which is right there. Because right now none of this is accessible. The fan is glued on. That is zip tied in there. And I gotta fix my cooling because I know right now, I mean, this is intake, which goes in through the bottom, which is really good, but the problem is there's no exhaust up here, but I'm gonna put smokestacks up here later anyways, so that's fine. But right now Titan kind of blows in the case, this blows in the case, the CPU, everything's sort of there, but it's a big enough case that it won't matter for a little while. I do have the case doors, they're over here. So, and magically, oh wait, I need lighting for that. I also found my tripod mount, but this is the old Bessie, and I'm still salvaging parts from it. This is Bessie 1 and 2, the case I used for it. For the first time ever, I managed to get that fucking hard drive thing out of there. Can't believe it, I was so happy. This little clip right here is supposed to, you use a screwdriver and you're supposed to be able to slide it out. And now that I look at it, I see what, in the instructions it doesn't really make any sense. They just say to push down on it and pull up. What you're really supposed to do, it's more clear over here when I did the power supply, is you're supposed to push down, pull out this way. This was unscrewed many times, but you're supposed to push down, pull out. So if anyone, that sounds like a sex joke, but anyways, if anyone has HP Pavilion Elites and they need to replace the hard drives, that's how you're actually supposed to do it. You're supposed to push down and pull out to the right, not up. It says to pull out up, even in the manual, so just bear that in mind. I'm gonna have to get longer cables. Got a bunch of those little ones. Still got to get the burner out of there. I have the HD DVD drive out, and I'll probably put it in. For my amusement, oh yeah, I gotta set up a system fan because though it has one. Come on. Okay, it has one, but it's not hooked into the motherboard. So, I mean, it's this thing. It's running and everything really well, but it's a power supply one because it's older. So work on that later. Actually, when I first started it up, I was like, why was that too easy? And it's because I accidentally bunched the CPU fan cable into all that bunch of wire there. Gonna have to charge my laptop soon. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the 2 terabyte hard drive that my friend gave me because it looks pretty much entirely dead. But yeah, so this is that hard drive mount I was talking about. See, it sits in there like this. That goes on there somewhat like that. That screws in. And this giant piece is actually a really cool feature, but it never took off. What you do, buy this special hard drive that is basically this model of HP. You could put your little portable hard drive in there and hook that up. And then they also had another one where you put this in here, hit this button, and it would automatically back up your system. Well, 1, that never took off as an idea for whatever reason. 2, I took the wiring out long ago, so because it was just there. It was all this case. Whoever designed it needs to be shot because the wiring was horrible. But I shouldn't be talking because my wiring was probably just as bad, but it was a little neater. I mean, this was easily able to do a loop around the case. I didn't know it was that long. But anyway, so there's my 2 old drives, my really old ones that are pretty much dead. I have them still because I need to get stuff off of them. They're not entirely dead, but they're failing, or at least one is. Give me a moment. So that monitor's not hooked up yet, and I'll explain why. That is why, because Titan is at an angle and not exactly aligned yet, so nothing in this case is aligned right. In fact, I wanted to use the original mounting holes, but there was 2 problems. 1, there wasn't enough of them, and 2, due to the back plate, since this is such an old computer, it didn't have any places to put the I/O stuff, and I didn't feel like cutting holes for them, so I drilled my own and fucked up on one of them. So these are all custom drilled, and they're not even real standoffs. There's like, on each one there's 2 nuts and a washer. So 1 nut holds it back so it doesn't screw in all the way and touch anything, which is really sketchy, and then there's 1 on the back to hold it from falling off. And there's a total of 3 screws holding it in. And in the case over there, well, not this one, that's a different computer, but The old case, there's like 8 different screws at least holding it in flat. So, yeah. This is a speaker I need to rewire. Maybe, we'll see. It was wired perfectly fine, but right after I did the first video of this thing starting up, it decided that the negative lead was going to die. So, like I said, I need to get a key for this. Found out that this, I don't think it locks the case. From what I can see, it actually doesn't, but what it does do is it locks, this is a switch, and I have a key switch, but it's not that small. It locks the motherboard, so I'd have to design a special, I want to say if circuit, but this isn't programming. This is actually not wired, I mean it's wired up to, if I put a floppy disk in there it'll read right now, but it's not hooked into my motherboard yet, it's just powered. This is the original floppy drive that came with the case, and I took off the adapter, which, because that side I don't have, but I do have that. So I took off this adapter, and I was like, you know what, let's use it, and it's a Sony floppy drive. It has the plate on it and everything, so wherever the front went, where's the front? It's over here. When I get everything cleaned up a little bit more and put the front back on, this matches, and I'll actually be able to use it. It is upside down, or I don't know. To me, it's upside down. It's the only way it would fit in there, because there's no mounting holes there. It's really weird. It uses like screws hanging out to work right. This is the wireless card mounting bracket that I had to take off to fit it, because like I said, 1, it's not aligned with the back slots, and 2, it's not touching the back slots, or it's not right facing it. So, because the way, I have to figure out a way to fix that without, I don't really want to cut the case. And I really didn't want Titan to be sitting that low. It was supposed to sit pretty much where it normally would, but just be closer to the back. So hang on. Let's just make sure everything's working real quick, and then I'll hopefully edit. Another thing I didn't think about to talk about when I was recording was new hard drives, and this one's from 2004, so this isn't technically new, but are 3.25, I think, maybe. Anyways, I could be horribly, it's either that or 5 something, but anyways, point is, these mounts are made for bigger drives, and there is a, I don't know where it went, but there is a thing that goes here for more drives and stuff, but I left that, I think I left it at the guy's house. I'll get it later, but I took that off when I got it, because 1, he gave me that to fix, because he wants this to be his shop computer, and it's really nice. It's just too big for me. I mean, it's a full ATX, but I don't have a use for it. Anyways, so I took this off because it wouldn't fit the, you have to take it off to get the motherboard in there, or at least I did, and my battery's about to die. So let me just stop recording. But anyways, this is not mounted at all, and I realized that when this is the 500 gig I had to put in there too. That's going to be hard. So I'm going to charge this, and then I'll speak more. So after all that work, the end result is not that quite yet. Almost. It's actually still not done, but it's mostly done, because that's actually the computer running. But I have to possibly hook Vengeance up to Bessie later, because this card that's sitting on this motherboard for storage purposes, which is brand new by the way, I just got it to replace my old dead network card. Well, not just got it, I got it a couple months ago. I either have Titan sitting crooked, and then I can't really get 2 monitors, which would be stupid, or I have it sitting straight and I don't have a network. Well, I have network, but it's through bridge. So right now I am choosing bridge, and later when I figure out how to fix that, I will choose both. So when was the last time you saw a battery powered network card? That's basically what I'm doing. The case doors are not on it right now, because I know for a fact something will probably go wrong. Like, right when I was hooking the network up, the fan fell off again, and I was like, God damn it, I didn't want to glue that again. So, and then I went to eat real quick, and it came off again as it was drying, and so I don't know how well that'll hold right now, but I gotta find a solution for that fan. And as you can see, there's another problem. This is the, like I said, the original floppy, but if I just go ahead and grab a floppy, oops, that was loud, and put it in, it will start to read it, which I can tell because I can see it spinning. But if I go over here to Windows 7, it'll say please insert disk. So I think I know what the problem is. So I might have to use the newer floppy, because I think what's happening is that one's just so old that Windows doesn't know what to do with it, which wouldn't surprise me. So I might try to use this one and maybe adapt it on there, because see, there's just this expansion plate, so I can use any floppy I want. These are expansion. This isn't the actual floppy, it's the same, it's like one of these, but it's a really nice one, so it's a shame. I'll get it working one day. And then I have the giant floppy cable from the original computer going, which probably is half the problem. My cables aren't that bad over here, but yeah. Titan's mostly straight as best as I can mount it. I still didn't fix the power button thing right there. This is still useless. This will probably never do anything. I've thought about making it where you press that and either the lights come on or like a plate slides down and a bunch of mods come out or something. I don't know. But this is not yet functional, mainly because if I make it functional in this state, I'd press it on and it'll just go in an on-off loop, which we don't want. So I'll have to build like a relay, or hack into, like I said earlier, hack into the power supply and then go right from, I think it's the green pin, I'd have to go look it up real quick, and short that to ground when this happens, and that would be on and that would be instantaneous off, which is how the old power supply worked. Reset button, still the power on off. This, like I said, I'll think of something for it, and the power indicator, of course, is turbo. Don't know why, but that's just the only one I could do. I'll think of a way to wire this in, maybe wire it off this where they both come on. This fan is working. It's still bitching and complaining about how there's no case fan. I think I ran into that problem before. So once I run this for a little bit and get a temperature idea or temperature reading, I'll put the case on it, and then later I'll find a place to put that little case fan. Oh, I guess I should put this down here for now. There's the old case, by the way, which I'm still kind of working on, but I just don't have. I kind of want to use my computer a little bit today because I've been gone all weekend. So yeah, basically got to fix the floppy drive, get a new proper hard drive, because that one's not really. It'll work for now, but that was robbed from my old backup hard drive, so it's tiny, old, and even though it looks badass, pretty slow. So that, gotta figure out how to fix Titan. Well, not Titan, but the network card over there. Oh yeah, and I gotta very pointy. I gotta resolder some, or those caps are bulging and are about to die. So like I said, I think I mentioned this earlier, I have to resolder or get those off of there and put some new ones on, because I have a steady hand and the guy who's having me do this does not, and I'm more than happy to do that for him because he lets me work on his flying car and gave me that case and a bunch of other cool stuff over the years, like this thing, which I intend to get working. I just need to build a 7.5 volt power supply, which I have the ability to do, I just haven't had a chance. And I actually kind of intend to maybe mount it on top of there or something. I might, there's a small chance that in the future I will re-drill all the mounting holes and move it back a little bit, because it's just almost an accident. All of this stuff's almost, hang on, let me get a light. Seizure time. All this stuff on the back, which you can't really see, there's nothing there, it's almost inaccessible. In fact, that little cord right here, the Ethernet, was almost impossible to do. As you notice, the USB is just hacked out of the front of another case. That's actually, I can fix that later, but yeah, just ought to work. And I'd happily trade the guy for his motherboard because it's the same socket and everything. It's just bigger, and I would have ran into even more problems then. Because see, with mine, because it's micro ATX, I believe, I can move it left and right and up and down a little bit more, whereas on his, which is full ATX, actually standard, not full, yeah, not happening. So I do still have the Pentium that came out of this thing and the power supply and a few other boards, like I have a 486 and a 386 that he also gave me a while ago, and I'll run those one day. But oh yeah, for those of you who are wondering, I think I said this, but I only have a 500 watt power supply. 105 watts being drawn from just this processor, probably 5 or so watts from this, Who knows how many from Titan? It kind of depends. I've always read different things. And probably more from other places, so it runs. Kind of. Guess it depends on your definition of running. But all weekend I've been fixing it. Oh, there's the HD DVD drive, which I need to get in there. Let's just see something real quick. Will that fit in there? Oh yeah, gotta build some mounting stuff for it. That might go back in Bessie. I don't know, because if I do, I have to use the adapter that's currently on the hard drive. Because for some reason, this came with Bessie originally, and it has an adapter that goes to it that makes this to SATA. I don't know why. I do not know why they did that. I really don't. But more than anything, it's just a novelty collector's item. Stop shining and glaring. It's just, yeah, HD DVD. And it's a DVD ROM and stuff, so it's not even a burner. But I do have in the case over there the burner. And I gotta get this out. This is very important. I can't really edit this video without, well, I can, but I can't use Bessie for it. So actually, I take that back. I still can, but I'd have to like send it to the laptop or something. I don't know. But it's alive. And hand comparison. There's my hands. There's the case. A little bit better comparison. There's the old case, or the old front of the old case. There's the new one. And the new front of the new, well, the new old case, I guess you could say, is right there. It's got nice filters and stuff on it. This thing, it was really easy to drill into, because I think it's steel, not aluminum, but it is hard to work with, because it's really solidly built, which is nice, but I'm not used to that. Whereas the case over here, I bent the case trying to get the hard drives out. That's sad. In fact, that's why this is bent from a while ago, because if you follow the instructions and put pressure on this, it almost always bends it. This whole thing is bent up. That's why, one of the reasons I need a new case. These are the mounting, this is, Titan used to sit here, you know it? Oh, well, never went that. And then these are all bent up. Nothing really sits on here, right? Even the fan mounts are bent, and that's just from being there. I mean, this is kind of depressing, because this computer originally was $1,000, no, even more than that. It was on sale for $1,000. And it was built like shit. Don't know how much, I don't know almost anything about it, other than it's apparently Lucky Star International, which I'll look up later. Probably out of business by now. And I don't think there was a model number on it. There might have been. But yeah. Best mount for power supply ever. A zip tie. A couple, actually. Because this whole area would have been where the old power supply was. I mean, it came out to here and went all the way down to where my motherboard's heatsink is easily. This section was just your computer, then you had your drives over here, and then this whole top half was just your power supply, which is insane. And that was only a 300 watt. That's a 160 watt in there, and it's pretty tiny. And I know they make 160 watt power supplies now that are only this big, by about that tall, by that deep. And I kind of want one for something, for Chronicles. And what do we got here? Oh yeah, this guy is he's like, I want to make a website for you and I'll do it for free. Or no, he said there's people out there who know PHP, CSS, blah blah blah, who are so bored and would willingly do it for free. And I was like, okay, Flint, go ahead. I know how to do all that stuff, I just don't have the time. But yeah, so I did some research on this board again and found out it's supposed to be fanless. So I'm not sure if these are aftermarket or not, because if they aren't, that means that this thing is actually supposed to support water cooling. But yeah, I know it supports SLI and a bunch of other cool features that I know what SLI is, but I don't know what some of the other features are. I know you can set a logo on that one, but you can't on mine, which is annoying. It has dual gigabit LAN, which I kind of want. Surround sound, which I have. eSATA, don't care about. This is a digital optical audio out. Can't remember the abbreviation for it. This is PS2 stuff. Printer port, which I don't have. I kind of want one really badly because I have a dot matrix printer that I love in a portable print. And that appears to be RCA out, which would be interesting. You can have an SLI motherboard with RCA out. So 2 gig of RAM. It actually has IDE, but the features I have that it doesn't are the reason that I don't want it. My friend's trying to convince me to trade the guy for it, but one of the things it does not have, well, it does have, but it doesn't. See, there's your RAID 1 configurator, I guess you could say. Not what I'm, for lack of words. Anyways, that's for just having a RAID 1 array, which I do have, but mine's software. I think this one's supposed to be hardware. But it only has, I think, a total of like 5 or maybe 5 different SATA ports, of which you're supposed to plug at least one drive into there for RAID 1 if you want to do that, and I think somewhere else there's one for just RAID 0. Don't know where that is. So supports less drives. It does support I think this one is, this is floppy, which I have. Otherwise well, that doesn't work, so I guess I can't say that. But it does have IDE, which would be nice to have. And then has the really long thing here and a million other things. But, you know, it's a little bit nicer board in some areas. Like, it does support SLI, and it has, I think, a 4X port, which I don't know if I ever had any use for. Whereas mine only has 1 or 2, I think it's 2 1X's and then 1 just PCI, and only 1 at 16. So in that sense, it is nice. It's nicer in the expansion department. It does support 16 gig DDR2, which is extremely rare for the Socket 775, and very expensive because 8 gig normally costs $200. 16 gigs probably about 400 at least. If you're lucky. I got lucky and paid only about 100 for that. Well, technically it was a gift, but whatever. Might ask the guy. I have 4 gig of RAM I could give him. These are, oh, they're Corsair. But yeah, it doesn't support ECC or any nice features like that, so I really don't have any purpose for it. So I'm just gonna fix it. But yeah, there's a few bulging caps on it. That's the other thing, is mine doesn't have any of those, and I've read that sometimes these boards do have problems, so not worth it. Hello, Vengeance. Still debating whether or not I should put lights on this, but yeah, it's good enough to run for now. I'll finish the rest of it some other time. Turn the backlight off on this. Every time I get Photoshop installed, I end up having to install it again like a week later. So, I'm gonna edit another video with, I guess, Movie Maker. Woohoo! It's gonna be on the laptop. Woohoo! But yeah. I'm trying to think. There was something I meant to tell you. Oh yeah. Why I am not on Minecraft. I don't know why I'm not screen recording either. Well, I do have Fraps, but if you go to Java's website, or Oracle, I guess technically, since they own it, and you go to this, and you go to, oops, not that. You go to, not that either. See all Java downloads, because I need the manual 64-bit. It'll say page not found, and at first we thought we did this at Devin's house, and then we had the same problem, so we thought it was just his. But it's not. It's actually just the site, and if we go back to agree and start free download, it'll do the same thing. So that means I have to, well, you can't see it, but there's a laptop right now. I need to steal the Java from Hades and try and install it on here. And I can't find, I've done a Google search and I can't find any information as to why that's happening, so. But anyways, I'm gonna answer Flint's question. Okay, so that is Bessie. That's a computer I need to repair. This is about to be Bessie, but as it stands right now, it still has the mint motherboard in it. I know you can't see that for shit, but I'll get a work lamp in a sec. But basically, the motherboard looks okay. Well, one of them does. One of them needs new capacitors, and it's the one that's on the floor. So before I pull it out of here, I figured I might as well try it and turn it on. I have no idea what it'll do. But there it is. There is literally no dust on this thing. There's dust in the case apparently, which I'll have to vacuum out later. That fan, I can't seem to get to back on the Molex connector. Try that in a sec. Ah, blinding light. God, yeah, this case is massive. But on the other hand, it's exactly what I wanted. So if I can just get this cable in here, that'd be just great. Gonna go in. I had this problem before with Bessie, except this isn't Bessie yet, so it's kind of funny. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there's the fan. which I need to look at. I think it's got a little dust on it. Power, turbo, reset. I need to get a key for that lock, but that shouldn't be too hard. Look at the size of that power supply. There's my hand. Just to give you a good comparison. Tiptoe around here. This is a, I don't even know how many watts anymore. I think 650 or 550, but it's much smaller. That's only 300. Like this in somewhere ish. Maybe. Come on. Come on. Alright, let's see if this thing starts. Oh my god, it did. Oh, I can't tear this apart. No hard drive. Turn turbo. Wow, that is a nice fan. Okay, interesting. I don't know how long it's been since this is running. Actually, what's this thing? Is there a retention mount for this? Maybe. Ah, ow. Case door. Ow, that hurt. Who knows how much RAM it has? I think maybe 8 meg is where I read somewhere. Don't know much about this. Pretty sure it's a 486. And I have another one in my room, so don't have one this nice though. My biggest concern is that button. 3, 2, 1. Because that button may or may not work with that new power, with the newer power supply, but I can figure that out. That is exactly what I wanted. So let's rip it apart. Oh, another nice thing, in this particular one, there was filters in the case, and the only problem with it is I can't seem to get the filters unless... Hang on, I'll stop recording for a second, see if I can figure out how to get this on. Well, since the front of it's kind of important to keep boring, I don't really want to break anything, so I didn't push it too far. Oh, we have Skype messages. Tiptoe around here again. By the way, there's Bessie, which who's slightly... Oh, it's Mobius. That's good. So, let's just tell him. Anyways, and then the same guy who gave me that gave me this to fix. He gave me capacitors for it. This is a really nice motherboard. I believe it is a socket 775 Core 2 Duo. I do not know, and I haven't had time to check. So, but it's really nice. It supports SLI and all that. It's like it's almost one of the motherboards I wanted to buy for that thing when I was looking at the cases. Doesn't support nearly as many hard drives apparently. Unless that SATA is supposed to be some sort of... I know it's a RAID 1, but I don't know if it's supposed to be just a pure RAID controller or what. But, yeah. It's a really, really nice board for what it is. And the cool thing is, I think it's built for water cooling, because these fans are totally separate, so... it's got 2 gig of RAM and blown well, not completely blown, but they are pretty close. Let's see what he's saying. I hate this thing in video mode, it just takes forever to zoom. Come on, come on. Is it sad that I can read that from back here with just my camera? He's nice without me. Well, hang on. I'll call him and put him on speaker. It's supposed to get really nasty out, so... Well, that is if he picks up, so... Well, he does that. I don't know, I need to look at cleaning this.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
Complains that I'm not in a call with him. Doesn't answer Skype. Typical Devin. For some reason, the Java download, or the Java download page is messed up. Ooh, look at all those bugs at the bottom of this thing. So it does run, and I almost can't kill it. But at the same time, I don't have a use for it. And to make that just a little bit more motivation for me to kill it. Well, not kill it, so to speak, but not use it, is I don't have any of these. I might have that S video if that's what that is. I can't tell. So, it's just better if I try and get that case, which is going to be nearly impossible, and I need to re-glue that fan on, unfortunately. Unless I want to borrow this one. It's an option. Not a very good one. We're not entirely sure if that's actually a socket 775. Doesn't say. And Mobius doesn't call back. So, anyways, this is the new case right now. There's the old one in the front of it. Right now, the old one looks like a monster, so... God, that power supply is going to weigh a ton, I know it. But I'm going to try and get this board out of there, hopefully. And is that a grounding? That is. Look at that. There's a grounding wire right there. I really like the turbo thing, but it seems that this button doesn't, if I turn that on, no, it's not turning turbo off. Who knows? It's loud. Oh, well, anyways. Yeah, I don't have, well, I do have hard drives hooked up. I can hook up to a hard drive, technically. And if it's a 486, I don't have any operating systems for this. Actually, I take that back. I could do something. I could run DOS on it, but, you know, I just wanted to start it because I've never personally started a 486 or anything, so whatever. It's, I don't even know what it, the sad thing is this heatsink right here is kind of weird. Oh, wait, there we go. I was wondering how that came off. I was like, there's no way in fucking, does this light off or what is the deal here? That's cool. It rotates. But, okay, hang on. If we move this over, get this retention arm, and by the way, I am upside down doing this, so it's not the easiest thing in the world. How do you get off of there? Please don't tell me the fan screws. It does! The fan and heatsink screw on. That's amazing. Okay, well, you go, where does your lead go to? You go to, what do you go to? Oh, okay. That's not helping. Hang on. This is a bitch. Oh, that's not gonna get me anywhere. Well, anyways. As much as I really want to see, I'm almost positive it's a 486. That's a really strange design, though. Yeah. Expansion slots. It had a, look at all these, it just had tons of cables. And this is what the guy left me with, so. What's this one go to? What's it say? Turbo. Oh. Turbo switch, I would assume. I thought I have a place for that. I don't even see it in here. Turbo, 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 turbo. See everything but it. Of course, then again, I'm assuming that turbo would be. There's a three little pin space, and it is 3 pins. So I guess we could put that there and safely assume that that may or may not be it. I don't really care too much about killing this thing. I do, but let's try this. Nope. Oh well. Interesting. So anyways, I'm gonna get this thing. I hope. Okay, so I learned something. It is a socket 775, but it says it's only supposed to do up to dual cores, like a Pentium 4 or a celery stick. It's a little disappointing, and I probably could get away with. It has the same frontside bus speed as mine, but as nice as a motherboard as it is, I'm not gonna put the Core 2 quad on it. I mean, it's not mine, but I'd probably ask the guy if he just wanted my motherboard. But oh well. The only real thing I gain is SLI and eSATA and a few other things, and this really cool design for the fan. But other than that, it's pretty much useless. Oh, Mobius is bitching at me. What's he saying? Oh no, Screws, give me a second. Lol. Okay, well, we'll see when he bugs me. So, if this camera decides recording is good, I found something that doesn't surprise me. See if it'll focus. Come on. Made in USA. And this is actually some sort of card, I guess, PCI card or something for, what was that for? That was a Scamjet, as it apparently says here. And I also found out that there may only be one screw holding this in. I don't know what else is holding it in. So that might be a mounting problem. But I can get around that. That and that fan doesn't seem to want to disconnect, but oh well. I know there was more cards. Oh, there they are. They're expansion.